One of the biggest lies ambitious fathers believe is that we don't have enough time. We tell ourselves, I'd build the business if I had more time. I'd be in better shape if the kids weren't home. I'd finally make progress on this, that, and the third if life would just slow down. I used to tell myself that too. I have two young daughters, a full-time career, a coaching business, now a YouTube channel. For years, I thought my biggest obstacle was time. It wasn't. It was attention. And once I understood the difference, I started getting more meaningful work done while becoming more present with my family. Today, I want to show you what changed. And a few years ago, my days felt scattered. I'd sit down with every intention of doing meaningful work. Then my phone would buzz. I'd answer one text, check my email, open Instagram for what I thought was just 1 minute, then YouTube, then another notification. 30 minutes later, I hadn't done one thing I actually sat down to accomplish. Then one of my daughters would walk into the room. She'd ask me a question, and if I'm being honest, I blamed the interruption. But she wasn't the interruption. I'd already interrupted myself 20 times before she ever walked in. And at the end of the day, I felt exhausted, busy, but strangely unaccomplished. And the worst part wasn't work. It was what happened afterward. I'd finally closed my laptop, but work didn't leave my mind. I was sitting on the floor playing with my daughters while mentally thinking about the business and the progress I didn't make on it today. Thinking about unfinished projects or wondering how I'd catch up tomorrow. I was physically present, but mentally I was someplace else. Then one day I asked myself a simple question. If I have the same 24 hours as everyone else, why does it feel like I'm only getting 1 hour of meaningful work done? That's when it hit me. I didn't have a time problem. I had an attention problem. So everyone talks about time management, right? Scratch that. Attention management is what matters. Time is fixed. Everyone gets 24 hours. Attention is different. You can protect it or you can give it away. And most people don't lose their day because they're too busy. They lose it one distraction at a time. A notification, like I mentioned, an email, a quick scroll, a random thought. Individually, they don't seem like much, but together, they steal the best part of your day. Once I stopped trying to manage my time and started protecting my attention, that's when I started making a lot more progress. And that's the first thing I realized. I had to stop trying to manage my time and start protecting my attention. So for years, I thought productivity was about finding more hours. I'd wake up earlier, stay up later, work through lunch, try to squeeze one more thing into my schedule. But no matter how many hours I found, I still fell behind. And that's because not every hour is equal. The first hour of my morning is not the same as the last hour of my night. My attention has a peak, and if I spend that peak checking email, responding to messages, or solving everyone else's problem, I've already given away the best part of my day. So I made one rule. My best attention belongs to my most important work. Everything else waits, because if I give my best energy to shallow work or work that's less important to me and my desires, then my deep work or what I care about the most gets whatever energy is left. And whatever gets what's left rarely becomes exceptional. The one realization that completely changed my mornings. And the second thing I realized was that for years, I kept waiting for the perfect day. The day when nobody needed me. The day my calendar was empty. The day, I had 4 uninterrupted hours. And that day never came, especially after becoming a dad. And I realized if my productivity depended on perfect conditions, I'd always be waiting. So I stopped chasing perfect days. I started chasing completed missions. So instead of saying I'm going to work for 4 hours, I say I'm going to finish this presentation or I'm going to outline this video. Things went from mission attempted or me trying to mission completed, me doing. And that made a huge difference because progress stopped depending on time and started depending on completion. Which brings me to the third and hardest realization. I had been looking at my daughters the wrong way. When they interrupted me, I thought they're keeping me from getting my work done. But one day I caught myself, and the truth was I had already wasted an hour before they even walked into the room. Scrolling, checking email, right? Switching between tasks. They weren't stealing my attention. I had already given it away. And that realization changed the way I saw my family. My daughters aren't obstacles to my work. They're the reason I want to work with greater focus, because I don't want to spend all day distracted, then finally sit down with them and still be thinking about work. I want them to get the best version of me, not whatever attention I have left over. And that's why deep work matters to me. Not because it helps me accomplish more, but rather it helps me be fully present when the people I love need me the most. You see, in hindsight, I thought deep work would change my productivity, and it did. But what surprised me was what happened after I shut the laptop. I stopped carrying work into dinner. I stopped replaying unfinished tasks while playing with my daughters. My mind finally caught up to where my body already was. And that's when it really hit me. The greatest gift I can give my family isn't more time, it's better attention. Because attention is how we show people what matters most. So let me leave you with one question. What deserves your best attention tomorrow? Not 5 things, 1 thing. Protect it, finish it, then close the laptop. Because the people you love deserve the same attention. You give your biggest ambitions. Success isn't about squeezing more into your day. It's about being fully present wherever you are, whether that's building your business, leading your team, or sitting on the floor playing with your kids. The quality of your life will always be determined by the quality of your attention. So tomorrow, don't just manage your time, protect your attention. It might be the difference between feeling busy and actually building the life you're trying to create. But it's also a hard truth that protecting your attention starts long before you sit down to work. It starts with whether you trust yourself to do what you said you were going to do. Because if you can't keep a simple promise to yourself, it's almost impossible to protect your attention when distractions show up. And that's exactly why I made this video. In it, I show you the simple system I use to keep a promise to myself for more than 150 straight days, and why that completely changed the way I approach work, discipline, and life. Thanks for watching. Hit the button to subscribe to Something Real. I'll see you on the next one. Push.